The Department of Correctional Services conducted a special search exercise at the various correctional centres, including the Johannesburg Correctional Centre, as part of the festive season safety programs. It's called Operation Vala. For more on this, I'm joined in studio by Deputy Minister Thabang Makwetla. Thanks so much for your time on SABC News. Talk to us more about this operation.
Well, Operation Vala, it's a yearly intervention of the Department of Correctional Services to step up security measures in our correctional centres by making sure that there's more adherence to procedures, but also we make sure that we conduct searches to remove all items that can be used to fan violence within our correctional centres, things like drugs, but also instruments, sharp instruments of all sorts that offenders can use to hurt each other.
How often are these searches conducted? Is it only this once a year, or is it more during the course of the year?
We do it during the festive seasons, once a year, Operation Vala, beginning of December right into the middle of January, so that we ensure that there's relative calmness within our correctional centres and opportunities for violence are minimized.
And what are you seeing when you're going and doing these search operations?
Well, our discoveries are consistent. It's the same story every year. Objects that are brought in surreptitiously, objects that are crafted by offenders themselves internally that are effective enough to hurt people. But we also find that there's a lot of contraband, that is found in these centers, things that now and again we remove them, but they keep being brought in. Drugs, daga is a very common, problem that we have. Cell phones, and of course, now and again there will be, some things that you don't even expect. Like, in our last search, we found that someone had even organized a pot for himself, suggesting that he's able to cook in the cell, stuff like that. So it is a very useful, intervention, because ordinarily to conduct a search like that, you need the numbers in order to conduct it. And it is not all centers that will be able on their own, without reinforcement, without this emergency task team that are mobilized to assist, that will be able to conduct such searches.
Are you looking at having them more than once a year? Because for me, if you're finding the same problems every year and the same issues, surely that's a sign that the department needs to conduct more big operations to minimize this sort of behavior.
No, you're right. No, it does get conducted throughout the year, this searching. What I was raising is that when we launch Operation Vala, it's a must. All the 6 regions must conduct the searches in all of their centers. No center should go without being searched when we go into Operation Vala. But from time to time throughout the year, depending on the situations, at times there are developments in the centers that compels management to actually consider doing this kind of searches.
And when you do the searches, it's not just a one-way search, because you're also hearing from inmates. They're telling you what their conditions are like, and they are coming to you and also asking for help. Talk to us about that.
The usefulness of these searches is that they also offer their visits at the same time to the centers to get further exposure to the conditions, to the plight of inmates. The obvious problem we encounter is a problem of overcrowding. Overcrowding is a problem as we speak. For instance, in the Eastern Cape, they are way above the conditions that were put to us by Judge Saldanha of the Cape High Court, that we must not go beyond 150% overcrowded conditions in any one of our centers. The Eastern Cape as a region is above that, followed by Gauteng, just hovering below that ceiling. So this is a continuous problem. The other problem, of course, is that I was personally not happy, and I was happy and pleased that the management team that I was with there also shared the same view. The unnecessary filth that you find in these cells, especially at Sun City, in the Johannesburg prison. Those are the kind of things that you get to appreciate more when you are on these visits. But the other thing again, it's complaints of offenders where they would say, we are encountering this kind of treatment from our officials here. We try our best to try and be as civil as we can under circumstances. We don't think that there is need for us to be treated this way. And we'll go into discussion and establish exactly what the difficulties are, because indeed those officials, they are not there to be in a continuous conflict with these offenders. They are also, it's not their business that they should consider their relationship with the officials to be, conflictual.
So what are you going to do as the department about those issues that are raised, specifically the overcrowding?
The overcrowding problem, as you would be aware, has been attended to by way of making sure that we even out the numbers. We make it a point that there is a continuous monitoring of the numbers, especially at the correctional centers that have huge populations, to make sure that once they go above 150% overcrowded, we move some of these offenders to other centers within the region. That's what we've been doing. But of course, it does not help, because it also creates other problems. These offenders, where they are, the majority of them, they are near their families, so the people can visit them. But when we deal with problem of overcrowding by moving them to centers further afield, it actually affects, their visits. And unfortunately, it's something which we have to make do with. But the problem, as far as the bigger picture is concerned, is that our communities must take into their own hands the responsibility to make sure that we reduce levels of crime in our communities. But not only that, those who have been in these correctional centers before, let's do our utmost to make sure that they don't reoffend.
Thanks so much for your time, Deputy Minister of Correctional Services Thabang Makwetla, joining us in studio there.